All right, Tulsi. What happened?
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Okay.
Work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic.
Combine that with the footage of the Asian guy. Remember the Asian scientist who was at the computer screen? Like, there's something happening, blah, 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 in the lab or whatever. We made a mistake. And then all of a sudden, that guy's going. Remember that?
Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when under oath, he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins. Once again, revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth. Dr. Fauci's close relationships with the intelligence community enabled him to assume three key roles that shield him from scrutiny. First, Dr. Fauci funded dangerous gain-of-function coronavirus research linked to big pharma and their pursuit of universal vaccines worth trillions of dollars. Second, Dr. Fauci was
Of course, we pointed that out kind of like right in the beginning. Everything was already looking kind of sketchy. But in all of the exposing, a lot of people, it's easier to expose information that people are lying, this, that, and the third, right? Whoop de whoop. But nobody actually knows what would have been the correct way to actually handle a pandemic. Because of the fact that you look over in China was going crazy with it. They're locking people inside buildings. People were yelling out. They were sent SWAT team-like brigades into people's apartments if they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. Like, it was wild. They forced people to stay in their house. People just yelling, we want to be free. Like, all that crazy shit was going on over there in China. While here in the U.S., we were still outside. So I want to know, what the collaboration on both sides was, because China knew something was going on. At the same time, we knew something was going on as well.
Behind-the-scenes advisor who, alongside his hand-picked so-called experts, pushed the intelligence community to endorse a natural animal origin to hide his dangerous gain-of-function research that he funded using taxpayer dollars, all of this in a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blame and attention away from Fauci's own actions. Third, Dr. Fauci became the nation's pandemic pundit, and he publicly pushed lies, disinformation, and censorship using every platform available. Now, according to hundreds of reviewed emails, which are included in this release, the intelligence community almost always incorporated Fauci's recommendations. He promoted a fraudulent paper whose publication he helped prompt as legitimate information for intelligence community consideration. Senior analysts praised Dr. Fauci not as a policymaker, but as what they called an unbiased guide to the real coronavirus experts, while deliberately ignoring experts who might dissent from Fauci's narratives. Now, Fauci didn't stop there. He blatantly lied to Congress under oath during his 2024 testimony to the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, denying that he ever spoke to any intelligence agency about COVID. Now, the correspondence I'm releasing today directly contradicts his sworn testimony. Now, we received statements from multiple whistleblowers revealing that the intelligence analysts who dared to challenge Dr. Fauci's COVID origin conclusions faced threats of retaliation, marginalization, and many suffered career setbacks. For example, a contractor was terminated just days after coming forward to ODNI as a whistleblower. Another example, those who advocated for the lab leak hypothesis or expressed dissenting views were reminded by their managers that leadership would determine which analysts would be promoted and which would not. The message was clear: go along or be punished. Senior leaders also sought to
They're running this whole thing like the Bad Girls Club.
undermine whistleblowers by
This is just Zeus in the government.
removing anonymity, which is required in the whistleblower process, as they made their complaints, and also insisting that their managers or attorneys be present during ODNI meetings where these whistleblowers were coming forward with their testimony, obviously creating an atmosphere of intimidation. The COVID pandemic caused tremendous hardship and pain for millions of our fellow Americans and countless people around the world. Now, after years of lies and censorship and cover-ups, the American people deserve transparency, truth, and accountability. The tactics that were used to hide the truth are straight from the deep state playbook. Politicized self-serving leaders like Dr. Fauci covered up their own wrongdoing and abuses of power, manipulated intelligence, lied to Congress, and undermined a duly elected president by restricting his access to the vital facts he needed to keep the country safe. It's time you know the truth.
Now, as far as experts go, so when I went to go get tested for the coronavirus, every time I got tested, I got negative. I was never positive, even though I was around people that were positive before. I was never positive, right? So it's my turn to get my test, and the doctors and the nurses are looking at me. You know, they ask people questions about how you caught the virus. Right? I said, okay, it was like Halloween night, or something. I think it was Halloween night. We were in the city. You know, it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. Me and my friends were eating some pizza. I'm in the same car as them. I got a slice, We're eating pizza, breath all over the car, hot breath, whatever, right? One of my friends ended up having it. He said he had a headache, went to go get tested. He got COVID. I'm like, okay, the night he said, you know, he thought he had it. I got a test too. I got 2 tests. I can't negative and a negative again. So the first time I actually got the test, they were like, how'd you get it? I told them that story, right? They were looking at me. The nurses and the doctors were looking at me like, yeah. They were just like, look, this virus is a part of the cold family. Allegedly, I guess, for YouTube's sake, right? Cold, flu, fever. They were just like, look, everybody's going to end up getting this thing. They were looking at everybody like, yo, fam, everybody's going to get these tests and all this other stuff and getting these vaccines. They're just like, look, you're going to either get it once or twice. And the time you do have it, you might not know that you have it. You might think it's a regular cold. It might be passing through your body and you just not know it because it's the effects that it has on you specifically as a singular person at that time ain't severe as somebody else getting it. You know what I mean? You might have shortness of breath for like a day and then it goes away. You might be positive one day and even they were doing tests. I forgot who was it. Elon? Somebody did multiple tests a week. Somebody did like 5 COVID tests in 1 week, and it was like negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. It was all over the place. And they were just like, well, something's wrong. Something's going on. Something's wrong here. Like, let's say you take 2 negative tests, and then you take a 3rd test at the end of the week, and all of a sudden you're positive. And you take another one after that, then you're negative again. It starts being a little kind of weird, right? So here's another thing they said. They said your body is going to have it cycle through once or twice. It's going to have to cycle through everybody's body, and it's going to be a regular thing. Just a regular thing, just like the cold or flu. Because look at it. If you go into Google and put in any number and then put COVID cases, do you know there's going to be stuff that pops up with put in the number 6189 randomly. 689 cases of COVID. If you put that into Google, it will pop up with a random article with that number. Such and such and such reported cases. Put 110111112. And it'll be like 110111112 number COVID cases in this whatever area or whatever. It'll pop up with that. It's weird as hell. Like what the, it still goes on. You know what I mean? So now, even if you look at the numbers, let's say COVID cases versus flu cases, right? If you put in like number of reported deaths for COVID, that year that people were dying from COVID, people were scared. The numbers, the death toll from the flu was way higher. It'll be like 6 people died here from COVID. Oh my God. Oh, everybody running, panicking. Oh. Meanwhile, the flu. 600 people in one city died from the flu in 2 days. Oh, it was just the flu. What? I'm like, y'all still not more scared of the flu than COVID? Because COVID was new. Here's my thing. Here's what I think. You might not agree with me, but this, after all this, COVID is still out. There's still people that get COVID regular now, like a regular cold. Like you'll call somebody, girl, I'm staying in the house. Well, man, I'm sick right now. I got COVID. Oh, for real? Okay. Well, holla at me tomorrow. See how you feel. It's just like they're treating it like the cold now. This is how it should have been treated. Okay, I'm gonna go into it to kind of say this is kind of how it should have been treated in the first place, right? Maybe. I don't know. The symptoms a little bit weird. The breathing symptoms. There have been whole families taken out because of COVID. Like there's been a lot of people that passed away, and they say COVID, COVID, COVID. But then also when you go, it was the whole controversy around the COVID related deaths. That let's say if you hit your head and you got COVID, but you die from hitting your head, they'll be like COVID related death. They'll start putting it on everything. That's one of the things that was going on. It's crazy as hell, right? But here's the thing. I think personally they shouldn't have shut anything, because shutting things down during COVID, the lockdown, that messed up a lot of things. When businesses tried to reopen, there's some people that ran their own businesses. The lockdown happened. They'll try to open up their businesses, and they'll be able to stay open for maybe a month and a half, and then they have to close again because business went down so crazy because nobody had money to freaking buy anything because of their jobs and businesses being closed. Couldn't get paid. So I think nothing should have closed down. I think the information should have been out and available to the public, right? Put everything out. These are the repercussions, like not repercussions, but you should be cautious of this, that, and the third. We got these vaccines. You can take this vaccine or whatever vaccine. It's up to you. It's 100% in your hands. There's not a vaccine mandate. You don't have to take it if you don't want to. It's your choice. If something happens, that's on you, but these vaccines are available. You don't have to take the vaccines, but we're going to leave everything open. Operations is normal. We're not about to cause a panic. Hey, this is a new thing that's in the cold family. You got cold, flu, fever, COVID. Boom. That's what's going on. Y'all live your lives. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Stuff is about to look crazy out here. Just letting y'all know, holla, we're going to update with you with some information on whether there's some new variants of the virus, some new strands or whatever. That's how I would have done things personally. Maybe everybody might not agree with me, or maybe some would. I just wouldn't see it as now in the framework of everything of going through COVID. People still getting COVID today, walking around the store with masks, without them. You don't even know who got COVID. Like you couldn't even tell who had COVID back then. Sometimes you look at somebody real sick back then, you're like, oh, you got a cold or a flu? No, it's COVID. Oh, damn, it looks just like either one of those. But the only symptom about COVID that sets it apart is the whole shortness of breath thing. That was a major issue. And then you put people on the respiratory thing, and people are saying, oh, the respiratory thing is allegedly making people die because you're helping your body breathe, and it causes your body to rely on the respirator and not function itself. That was a whole thing. So, I mean, I don't know really too many details on that. I'm not an expert, but I don't know. That's just how I would have ran things. I wouldn't have shut anything down. I would have just put the information out, been extremely transparent, put some vaccines out, and we're going to update you if something else crazy happens with the virus. So if we got some new vaccines or there's some recalls or whatever, but y'all operate like y'all want. And then that's it. That's just how I would have done things. I wouldn't have caused a whole economy crash out. I just wouldn't have done it that way. So there's more to come. So we're going to see what else happens. All right, Tulsi. This is Rogue herself, straight out of X-Men.